Okay, hello everyone. We are going to be discussing the 2026 new releases I'm really looking forward to. I really wanted to find 26 books for 2026, but apparently I'm not really looking forward to that many books that are releasing next year. I never know which books are going to be out in the next year until I do videos like these, and so I frantically went searching for books for this video. I tried to find some that I haven't heard anyone talk about yet. There are a couple sprinkled in here that are pretty well known, but yeah, we're just gonna get started. So I never really know what these books are about until I start recording, and so we're gonna be finding out together as per usual. Oh yeah, I organized them by date, and so they're gonna be in the order of when they're releasing, so earliest in the year to latest. The first one is A Wild Radiance by Maria Ingrand Mora. I was interested in this one because of the cover. The cover's really pretty, and then it also said the description that it was perfect for fans of Arcane, Wicked, and Iron Widow. I don't really know what Iron Widow is, but I know what the first two are. We're just gonna read the descriptions of each of these books and figure out what they're about. Okay, so this one, Josephine Haven is about to find exactly where she fits into the march of progress. Her outbursts are infamous at the House of Industry, the school for children who can wield radiance and electricity like magic. She's tried to follow the rules, but her fiery nature is at odds with the core tenet of the house: never form attachments. If she's meant to feel nothing, why are her emotions so volatile? No one is surprised when, upon graduation, Josephine is banished from the city to a remote mission. In Frostbrook, she must work under standoffish Julian, the former golden boy of the House of Industry, who seems determined to watch her fail. And then there's Ezra, the flirtatious stranger who's a little too curious about how the mission operates. But there are bigger problems than Julian and Ezra's secrets. A deadly disease is spreading across the countryside, and in Frostbrook, not everyone is eager to embrace progress. As Josephine questions the system that raised her and gives in to desires she's been taught to suppress, she must decide what she's willing to sacrifice to expose not just corruption within the house, but the devastating truth about the radiance in her core. I'm gonna be so real, I don't know what I just read. Is this a love triangle? Also, is this a series? I don't know, I guess we'll find out more when the book comes out. Oh, A Wild Radiance is coming out January 20th. Okay, next one is Agnes Auber's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Fawcett, coming out February 17th. So I read The Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, and I thought it was okay. I got kind of bored, but this title and this cover, who can resist? Agnes Auber leads a meticulously organized life, and she likes it that way. As the proudly type A manager of a much-needed cat rescue charity, she has devoted her life to finding forever homes for lost cats. But after she is forced to move the cat shelter, Agnes learns that her new landlord is using her charity as a front for an internationally renowned and thoroughly disreputable magic shop owned by the disorganized, not to mention self-absorbed, irritating, but also decidedly handsome Havelock Renard, magician and failed Dark Lord. The shop draws magical clientele from around the world, partly due to the quality of Havelock's illicit goods, as well as their curiosity about his shadowy past and rumors of his incredible powers. Agnes's charity offers the perfect cover for illegal magics. Agnes couldn't care less about the shop. Magical intrigue or not, there are cats to be rescued. But when an enemy from Havelock's past surfaces, the magic shop and more importantly, the cat shelter are suddenly in jeopardy. To save the shelter, will Agnes have to set aside her social conscience and protect the man who once tried to bring about the apocalypse and is now trying to steal her heart? Wait, that sounds so cute. We love a woman who has an obsession. The man in this book sounds really interesting too. It kind of reminds me of The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. Next one is Salt Swept by Carolina Watt, coming out February 26th. The reason why I was interested in this one is because it said it was a fantasy duology, and I've been looking for more fantasy duologies. Oh, and it also said it was based on Southeast Asian mythology. Okay, description: a ragtag crew, a perilous quest. First they need a boat, next they need to learn how to sail it. A pirate faces the gallows drop. A farmer is given a terrible ultimatum to save her daughter. An acolyte ascends to priestesshood, only to find that a blessing really can be a curse. These unlikely bedfellows band together with an inscrutable pickpocket and a talking otter cat in pursuit of the most hopeless of to sail into the maelstrom, a raging whirlpool from which no one has ever escaped, and the mysterious treasure hidden within it. The quest will test their fragile allegiance to its limits, but there is more at stake here than getting the magic of the world is in peril, and the barrier between life and death has never been so thin. And in the Bastion, the seat of power in Paranesh, the queen has an unquenchable thirst that threatens the world and everyone in it. Can there be honor amongst thieves? Without it, they might never see another sunrise. Okay, so this is supposed to be a fantasy debut, or is it a debut in general? Okay, no, I think this might be a debut, so that's exciting. I like the cover, which is why I was so interested in it. Next one is Daughter of... Did I type this out right? Okay, I did. It's Daughter of Crows by Mark Lawrence. I don't know why I thought it was a different name. The description is: set a thief to catch a thief, set a monster to punish monsters. The Academy of Kindness exists to create agents of retribution, cast in the image of the Furies, known as the Kindly Ones, against whom even the gods hesitate to stand. Each year 100 girls are sold to the Academy. 10 years later, only 3 will emerge. The Academy's halls run with blood. The few that survive its decade-long nightmare have been forged on the sands of the Wound Garden. They have learned find ancient secrets amid the necrotic fumes of the Bone Garden. They leave its gates as avatars of vengeance, bound to uphold the oldest of laws. Only the most desperate would sell their child to the kindnesses, but Rue, she sold herself. And now a lifetime later, a long and bloody lifetime later, just as she has discovered peace, war has been brought to an old woman's doorstep. I really wanted to read this one because of the potential academy setting, because lately I've been trying to find more books with like an academic setting, magical academic setting. But yeah, this book is coming out March 24th. Next one is The Faraway Inn by Sarah Beth Durst, coming out April 7th. 16-year-old Kalisa is desperate for a change of scenery after her lying ex ruins her perfect Brooklyn summer. When her parents suggest she head to rural Vermont to help her great aunt run her cozy bed and breakfast for a few months, she jumps at the chance. But when Kalisa arrives at the B&B, she's shocked to find a rundown inn with only a handful of guests. And to make matters worse, upon meeting her great aunt, it quickly becomes clear that Kalisa was not invited. Auntie Z is determined to keep anyone from messing with her beloved inn, even if it is clear she needs the help. To earn her keep, Kalisa sets to work fixing up the inn, enlisting extra help from the groundskeeper's handsome son. But the longer she stays, the more it becomes evident that there is something strange about the B&B and its residents, something almost otherworldly. The inn is keeping a magical secret, but to protect the place she's come to love, Kalisa must unravel the truth of it and her aunt before it's too late. Okay, so this was YA. I thought at first this was adult fantasy, like her other books in the Spell Shop series. I feel like I haven't read too many cozy fantasies that are YA. Next one is I Could Give You the Moon by Anne Liang, coming out April 14th. I'm really looking forward to this one because it's supposed to be like a standalone sequel to If You Could See the Sun, which was her debut novel and I loved it. Okay, I have the description pulled up. Everyone loves Chanel Tao except Aries Yin. While Chanel has spent her entire life curating a picture-perfect social media personality, from her body to her hair to her camera-ready smile, Aries has spent his trying to hide in the shadows. But Aries' brother is missing, and Chanel's parents have secretly separated, and their only hope is each other. Aries is willing to do whatever it takes to find his brother, and Chanel will do anything to keep her parents secret. When the two meet and share a vision of the future, where Aries' brother appears as Chanel's house burns to the ground, they are determined to use each other. Aries believes Chanel is the key to finding his brother, but Chanel is convinced if she gets Aries to fall in love with her, she'll save her family house and her parents' crumbling marriage. But Aries isn't interested in the fake personality that Chanel has used her entire life to get affection and adoration. If she's going to save her reputation, she's going to have to let Aries get to know the real her and risk real feelings. Okay, so very like opposites attract. Also, I forgot for a second that this series has magical realism. In the first book, the main character could turn invisible, and then this one they can see visions of the future. So that's interesting. I'm not really sure if we met Chanel or Aries in the previous book, so I might have to go back and reread that. Next book is Golden Terrace by Sang-woo Bin-bai. It's a danmei novel. Oh my god, guys, can I tell you, I really manifested this. Several months ago, I made a danmei video about like my collection in TBR, and I was like in that video, I don't know how I'm gonna read this because it's not traditionally published everywhere, and the publishing house that was printing it shut down. And then a few months later, 7 Seas announced that they were publishing this book, and I'm so excited because I heard it's so good. Okay, so Hu Shen, the renowned general of the Northern Yan army, has long served as Great Zhao's shield against foreign enemies. When he suffers grievous injuries during an ambush, his days of glory come to an abrupt end. The emperor, long wary of his general's influence, seizes the opportunity to recall him to the capital. Yan Xiaohan, the imperial inspector of Fei Long Guard, is a court flatterer as famous for his ruthlessness as his bitter feud with Fu Shen. So when the emperor grants the pair a marriage intended to strip Fu Shen of his power and bind him to the emperor's lackey, the court braces for catastrophe. Yet there is more to Fu Shen and Yan Xiaohan's animosity than meets the eye, a secret history known to them alone. As the two rivals confront the idea of their forced union, conspiracies swirl beneath the surface. Someone orchestrated the attack on Fu Shen, and their game is far from over. This is so exciting. I'm marking this on my calendar. Like forced marriage with a hidden past. It's coming out June 2nd. Next one is Shadow Reaper by Lynette Noni. Okay, I'm reading The Medoran Chronicles by Lynette Noni right now, and I'm loving it. So I wanted to read some of her other books, which includes The Prison Healer and this one. I believe Shadow Reaper is her adult fantasy debut novel. Is this a standalone? I'm kind of hoping it's a standalone. Okay, the description. The city of Aravel is in peril, plagued by a deadly black mist that kills all it touches, and reapers who roam the streets stealing magic from innocent children in their thirst for power. 17-year-old Viridia Solus has trained for years to hunt these reapers, but their ranks keep growing, led by the man who murdered her parents, the Reaper Priest. Wait, she's 17? Oh, it's not adult. It's young adult. Never mind, forget what I said before. Okay, continuing. When the priest's most loyal follower, Reeve Ashton, is captured, he offers Viri a chance to avenge her parents for a price. She knows better than to bargain with a Reaper, let alone this Reaper, but his offer is too good to resist. Soon she's breaking him out of prison, colluding with his crew of magic thieves, and following him deep into the Black Mist Forest in search of an ancient legend. Also, they can stop the Reaper Priest's plot to doom the city. Viri is staking her life on Reeve's plan, but how can she trust a silver-tongued criminal to keep his word? And how can she trust her own heart when a buried secret could shatter everything? Full of relentless twists, enemies to lovers romance, found family, and high stakes. Sounds right up my alley. Shadow Reaper is the start of a breathtaking new duology from international best-selling author Lynette Noni. Okay, duology then. I'm fine with a duology too, like I said. I've been looking for more fantasy duologies. This one is also coming out June 2nd. You know, I'm just realizing there's quite a few cozy fantasies on this list. The next one is the reimagining of Thornwood House by J. Johnson, coming out June 9th. The reason I wanted to read this one is because it sounded very like Howl's Moving Castle vibes. It looks like the house has legs. This one is an adult cozy fantasy book. Evelyn Sharp is accustomed to dealing with natural disasters as a land witch, but she longs for a life with a little less danger for her and her adopted daughter, Ruby. So when the opportunity to take over as caretaker of Thornwood House, a sentient house that acts as the magical heart of the village of Iskandra, arises, it seems almost fated. When they arrive in sunny Iskandra, Evie and Ruby find the house is nothing like what they thought. First of all, it has walked from the address. Thornwood House is grumpy, guarded, and extremely hesitant to allow the two witches through its doors. Armed with gentle hearts and wild magic, Evie and Ruby begin to form tentative bonds with the house and the citizens of the small town. But there's something deeply damaged about the building seeping into the forest surrounding Iskandra, and Evie will have to use all her power to protect the roots she's started to grow. Like, doesn't it sound so cute? Just like very warm and cozy. Plus, I've recently discovered this thanks to The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, but I really love fantasy books with like small towns. Next one is A Darker Shore, Letters from Ketterdam by Leigh Bardugo, coming out June 30th. This is so exciting because it's been a while since I've dove back into the Grisha-verse. The first book that I read by Leigh Bardugo was Six of Crows, and I loved it. And then the second book by her I read was Crooked Kingdom. So love that world, love the characters, love the romances. And so I believe this is supposed to be like a novella. In the years since the violent upheaval caused by the auction of Kue Yolbo, the merchants of Ketterdam have been under attack. Secret businesses exposed, ships sunk, slavers hunted as they once hunted their victims. All the work of a mysterious sea captain and her ship, the Wraith. Inez! Now two investigators meet to uncover the truth behind the latest disaster, a massacre on an island off the shores of Ketterdam. Among the evidence collected is private correspondence between a notorious crime boss, Kaz Brecker, and an anonymous sailor aboard the Wraith known only as I. Follow along with the lead investigator as he tries to piece together how such a disaster transpired. Oh wait, so are none of the main characters in this book, like the actual main characters from Six of Crows, we're just following this random investigator? Okay, I don't really know how to feel about that, but we're gonna get letters between Kaz and Inej. Good enough for me. Next one, oh my god, I'm so excited for this one too. I manifested this one as well. It's Little Mushroom by Yishu Sojo, coming out July 7th, which is the day before my birthday. Perfect timing. Same thing with this one as with Golden Terrace. It was in that same danmei video that I made, and I believe it's also the same publishing house. This one also being marked on the calendar. I'm running straight to the bookstore. In the year 2020, Earth's magnetic poles disappeared and humankind was nearly wiped out by cosmic radiation. Within the span of 100 years, living creatures began to mutate and devour each other, while the remaining humans, numbering in tens of thousands, struggled bitterly in their man-made bases. In the abyss, home to the mutated xenogenics, there lived a sentient little mushroom. Because it had been nourished by the blood and flesh of the diseased human, Anzi, not only did it take on a similar-looking human form, but a similar name as well, Anja. Anja is determined to go to the human base to search for a spore, which had been harvested by humans. Once there, however, he faces the omnipresent risk of discovery and certain death as he tries to keep his non-human nature hidden from the judges, whose responsibility is to inspect for and eliminate xenogenics like himself. And of all the judges, Colonel Lu Fang is the most perceptive and merciless. As soon as he determines that someone is xenogenic, he will execute that person on the spot. But Anja's mutation goes undetected by Lu Fang's eyes, and so a tale of humans and xenogenics unfolds. Oh my god, there's gonna be a romance between them. That sounds so interesting though. He's actually a mushroom in a human body. Next book is Extracurricular by Rachel Lynn Solomon, coming out July 14th. I was interested in this one because the cover's really pretty. Ramona Wilder has spent her whole life in the spotlight. After a hit kids TV show, she transitioned into music, singing in arenas around the world and becoming an icon for millions of teenage girls. Now at age 26, exhausted by the inhumane lack of privacy, she's done with all of it. She wants a chance at normal, whatever that might mean for her, and she's starting with college. Professor Nick Navarro is recently divorced but determinedly optimistic, allowing himself a very reasonable 10 minutes per day to wallow. When his department calls a meeting about a celebrity enrollment, he plans to treat whoever it is like any other student, except when Ramona blazes into class and causes an uproar, the typically easygoing professor is rattled, maybe for the first time in his career. Ramona loves the way she flusters him, taking every opportunity to push Nick's buttons, though what she really wants is to unbutton them completely. When a crisis brings them closer outside of class, they begin a tentative friendship amid an undeniable attraction. But Ramona can't be so easily finished with her old life, and they'll both have to confront their past if they want a chance at something real. Oh, so it's a professor-student romance. I actually haven't read anything with that trope, but this one sounds pretty good. Next one is Sea of Charms by Sarah Beth Durst. It is the third book in the Spell Shop series. Really looking forward to this one. I still need to read The Enchanted Greenhouse before this one comes out. I'm really excited for this one because it's out at sea. Marin is a supply runner with her own boat that she sails from island to island, delivering whatever anyone will pay her to deliver. Lettuce, flour, even the occasional enchanted lemur. It's a lonely only life, but it's hers, and she wouldn't trade the freedom of the sea for anything. Her only companion is a sea serpent, Perry, whom she saved from a fisherfolk's net. Wait, that's so cute. One day she sails to Elysium and discovers the city is on fire. Okay, well, there's the connection. There's been a revolution and the empire has fallen. Marin, with Perry, begins transporting refugees, finding them new homes where they can start over. One such refugee is Dax, a composer who refuses to leave behind his instruments, no matter how much she tries to emphasize the gravity of the situation. Intrigued by his stubbornness, his passion for stories, and his charming smile, Marin discovers perhaps she isn't saving him. Maybe it's the other way around. I love Sarah Beth Durst just writing characters who are obsessed with something, because in The Spell Shop, the main character in that book is obsessed with books, and in this one it seems the love interest is obsessed with instruments. This one is coming out July 28th. Next one is Immortal Game by Alison Sapp, coming out August 4th. Oh, so I read the description to this one, and apparently it's a fantasy book about chess. Like, doesn't that sound interesting? Also, the cover is gorgeous. Description: every 100 years, a small group of chess players are invited to enter the glittering world of fairy to compete for the honor of playing the king of the other world himself. Whoever defeats him is granted one wish. 19-year-old Chia Fury intends to be the first to win. It's the only way to win back her sister, who was taken by the king years before, but standing in her way is her longtime rival and fairy princess Clara. As the tournament progresses and players start to drop dead at their boards, the two are forced together in an unlikely alliance if they are to outwit the forces of fey magic and survive until the very last move. Oh my god, it's really death by chess. That's like really high stakes. Next one, To Dream in Darkness by Anne Liang, coming out October 27th. I wasn't aware she was releasing another book next year, so I have no clue what this one's about. China in the Age of Brilliance, where gods freely wander the three realms. Amongst them is the cruel and beautiful death god, who has never failed to collect a soul on time. Until now, for when he seeks out Rugia, the noble god of healing, and the only god he is fated to kill with his own hands, she makes him an offer he can't refuse. She will help him lift the excruciating century-old curse placed upon him if he gives her a 1-month reprieve. Rugia knows she isn't as noble as everyone believes. Her deal with death is merely an excuse to buy herself time while she figures out an escape plan. But when her plan causes the celestial palace's collapse and the beloved crown prince's disappearance, she and Death are both held responsible. The only way to avoid the wrath of all the other gods is to travel across the realms and safely retrieve the crown prince themselves. Yet the journey proves far more treacherous than expected, as the unlikely alliance between them blooms into more, and Death's resolve to kill Rugia weakens by the day. Neither can outrun their intertwined fate without devastating consequences. A mysterious plague, an empire-destroying flood, 1,000 deaths, and rising to restore the balance Rugia is disrupted. And if Rugia continues to live despite the will of the heavens, this is only the beginning. Wait, that wasn't what I was expecting. That sounds so good. They're both gods, and it's a traveling romance. I need to mark so many books on my calendar. And then we have the final book on the list, Scorpion Deep by C.G. Drews, coming out October 27th as well. The cover to this looks so cool. The only thing Jonathan Covey wants from the gloomy, moldering Isle of Kelkaro is to leave. Summer is ending, and his friends are looking forward to college on the mainland, unaware that Jonathan was not accepted to join them. He'll be left behind with nothing but the ocean's haunts and a rising dread of being abandoned. In an act of wild desperation, Jonathan pays a tithe to Scorpion Deep, an eldritch sea god who many of the locals have dismissed as myth. He wants to forget the past. He wants to follow his friends, and most of all, he wants to finally escape. To his shock and horror, the ritual works. Scorpion Deep awakens, and despite his terror, Jonathan can't help but feel drawn towards the ageless entity that seems just as mutually obsessed with him. As scales start growing down his spine and Scorpion Deep's adoration of him turns bloody, Jonathan realizes the only way to end the nightmare is to destroy the monster one way or another. But once a god has awoken, the only way to be free is to pay a price of blood. Definitely giving off like horror gothic vibes, which will be perfect for October. Anyways, that was the last book on this list. Please let me know which books you guys are looking forward to in 2026, because I feel like I'm not really aware of new releases, so I will gladly take any I can get. But yeah, I'm gonna end the video here, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!